Hello and welcome back to part 2. We got cut off there, but it's part 2 of Every Rose Has Its Thorns. I won't play the song again. Could sing it, but no, I won't. But yeah, so I'll just get on to the cards. I've just drawn another 2 cards because I felt guided to. And yeah, they followed on from the first card, as things usually do. So yeah, I was talking about this card, the Wild Rose. Do it your own way, embrace your uniqueness, untamed. And you know, so this oracle card, it's about doing it your own way, embracing your uniqueness, you know, your own nature and being authentic. It's about not being stuck, you know, to society's ideas, having your own path and, you know, paving your own path. And, you know, I once got told by another healer, before I knew I was a healer myself, well, I was just coming into knowing it. So when this healer told me, it didn't come as a shock, but it gave me validation, you know. I got told that I'm here to pave a unique path, you know, for myself and for others. I'm showing a new way of, you know, of living, of beliefs, and things like that. And, you know, twin flames, that's what we do. You know, we're here to break down all paradigms of what's gone before, you know. The old ways are crumbling, and twin flames are part of that, you know, as light workers and light showers. But yeah, so this card, beautiful card, you know. But yeah, it's walking the path, and you know, the spiritual path. It's a really hard path, you know. Anyone who's on it will know that, and it's having that courage to walk the path alone, you know, and whatever it takes. You know, it's this card's called the Wild Rose, you know. It's not about being tamed. It's not about being numbed down by society or other people's beliefs. It's about walking your own path. Yeah, whatever it takes, and knowing who you are, you know, at that core soul level. It's about knowing yourself, you know, and having that courage to walk this path. And it's a lonely path. I've often spoke about how lonely it gets. And it's very, very isolating path. Because, you know, you're seen as different, and, you know, the world's not always encouraging about different people, is it? You know, I think it's opening up a little bit more now. I'd like to think it is. But yeah, I've always felt different. As a child, I felt different. I saw things different, felt things different. But, you know, I've come to, as I've grown and I've healed my wounds, following on from the last reading, I found my rose, my sacred heart, you know, back home. Different's good, different's unique, different's making a change. That, you know, the ones that are different, pretty special gifts inside them, you know. And we all, I believe we all have this inside us, you know. We're humans having, we're souls having a human experience, you know. So I believe we've all got soul gifts, every one of us inside us. But yeah, it's about being free and realising what, you know, what kept us locked away. It's about daring to be that wild rose, you know. Be that free rose, you know. We was all born to be. Yeah, we was never born to be tamed and shackled down, you know, to society's rules and have other people's beliefs pushed on us. Was born to be free. I mean, I could break out into another song there, but I won't. I'll save you all from that. And you know, it's also about being brave, you know, to walk this path, and being brave to be different when, you know, when it's not the normal to be different. And it's just about knowing who you are, you know. And I'll move on to this card for knowing who you are, because that says the rose thread. And, you know, that's your inner call. You're being soul led. And, you know, it's the call of the mystic. And it's living courageously, you know, just following on from that card. When you're being soul led and, you know, your spiritual awakening comes online, doesn't matter what you are, spiritual awakening, twin flame, light worker, way shower, you know, it's that knowing, and you feel that inner call, you feel something is coming, and you feel like you're being divinely guided by a invisible force, and yeah, you just feel different, you know, that mystics come online for you, you know, once you start your spiritual awakening. Yeah, you can't escape this inner call that's, you know, that's happening. There is no escape from it, you know. Once your soul's awakening, it's ready to. And I'll go to this card because this is about, you know, the release, the petals, and it's about the transformation and the death and the rebirth and the shedding, all change. Now, the transformation is the going into the, you know, the ferns, the going into, I've always likened the thorns to the dark night, you know, say like the Kundalini awakening, the dark night, you know, the dark night is the deepest, darkest place you're going to go to do that purification process. You know, the dark night, once you enter into that dark night, you've got to go through it. You can't turn back. Once that dark night started, yeah, you know, you've got to. There's only one way through it, and that's, you know, that's through it, and that's really, really going to your shadows. You know, it's that transformation, it's that death, and the dark night of the soul is a death, but not in the you know, the physical sense. It's a death of the old self. But, you know, that death is for a reason, and the reason is for the rebirth of the new. And, you know, the thorns is the dark night, you know, the shadows, the ego, all that stripping away, the purification that we have to go through. And the rose, that's your rebirth. You know, once you've done all that shedding and that change, you come out into the light. I mean, you can see this lady here, and look at those roses, those petals, you know, just swirling around her, and she's got her arms spread out, and she just seems so free. And that's what it feels like. You know, I'm out the other side now of my dark night, and yeah, you just feel so free, and you can speak your truth, and you know, you can only speak of this path if you've really if you've experienced it. I would never ever be speaking of anything like this if I didn't know what it felt like to actually go through that death and rebirth. You know, you can't anyway, because 7 years ago I wouldn't have known any of this. I didn't know any of this, should I say. And I didn't know what I was heading into until I was in it, you know. And then again, there's no return. There's no turning back. It's that transformation. It's already happening. It's meant to happen. You know, you're meant to find. You're meant to release them petals. You know, you're meant to be that rose. You're meant to bloom. You're meant to show your light. You're meant to come back to you know, to yourself on this path. And yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I can't, you know, it's the hardest path I've ever been on. It's the hardest process of anything I've ever experienced in my life. But when you're in it, you do also know that you're heading to something so beautiful, not just for yourself, but you're going through all this purification to help others to find themselves, to guide others, you know, not to heal others, because we're all our own healers. We heal ourselves. We've all got that inner strength in us and that inner healing to heal ourselves. But what we do is we open them up to opening up our light and you know, shedding our shadows, then has an effect on everything around you. You know, it's that ripple effect. You know, you can only speak of something you've experienced. And when people start seeing the changes in you, you know, then that speaks for itself. You know, my family, my friends, you know, I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. I'm the authentic Ellie. I'm the unique Ellie. I'm the Ellie my soul, you know, is, you know. I was never meant to be that Ellie, that old Ellie. I never was. That wasn't the true Ellie. This is the true Ellie. And, you know, yeah, it's that wild rose, you know. I'm the wild rose. And I embrace every part of myself, and that's not coming from ego. That's just coming from love for myself and having walked, you know, through the fire to get to the light, basically. You know, once you've had that deep transformation and alchemy, you know, of everything, you know, there's no turning back. You're never the same again, and you're not meant to be. So I shall leave it there with this beautiful picture, this beautiful oracle card. You know, it speaks for itself, the wild rose. So yeah, we've all got this inside us. We can all be a bit wild. But yeah, and you know, my rose quotes there. But yeah, you know, the rose path. It's our way back home to ourselves. And I shall speak to you all soon. Bye bye.